أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وأعز المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه الأخيار المتجبين وعلى جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين من يوم آدم إلى قيام يوم الدين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Before I begin, I must just point out this little thing that if you, for any reason, believe that there is a specific subject that you would like addressed, please feel free to let me know. You would actually make my life easier. Otherwise, I'm supposed to finish up last night's subject, but in reality last night's subject should have been about Imam Ali, peace be upon him, and Ahl al-Bayt, and consequently I will forego that and basically we'll cover today Imam Ali, peace be upon him, because according to Sayyid Fadlallah it was yesterday, according to the others it's today, when Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, was struck by Abdul Rahman bin Muljam, where he actually fell a martyr 2 days thereafter, which is on the 21st night of the holy month of Ramadan. So far, since the beginning of this month, we have covered patience, patience on hardships, patience on trials, just various forms of patience. We have covered pride and arrogance. We have covered knowledge, reasoning, pondering, the main element or pillar of Islam. Today we will shift a little toward a verse in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Shoora, verse 23. It says, Prophet Muhammad says in this verse, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. I do not ask of you for what I'm doing any reward except for love to my kid. See, all other prophets, all other messengers, if we read Surah Al-Shoora, other surahs, they say, and I do not ask of you any reward, my reward is with Allah, the Lord of the worlds. وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ إِنْ أَجْرِيَ إِلَّا عَلَى رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Except for Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In Surah Al-Shoora, Surah 42, verse 23, he says, I do not ask of you any reward except for love to my kid, Ahl al-Bayt, the Prophet's household. More interestingly, in Surah Saba, Surah 34, verse 47, Prophet Muhammad also says, and the reward I ask of you is for you. My reward is with Allah, the Lord of the worlds. So the reward of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is with the Lord of the worlds, with Allah. But the reward he asks us for is actually for us. That's in Surah Saba, Surah 34, verse 47. This is very important. Now some people wonder, why is it very important? Prophet Muhammad is asking us for a reward, contrary to the other prophets, but this reward is for us, which is love to his kid. It's for our best interest. Why does he do that? If we really observe the history of Islam, what really has sustained Islam, one main element of it is Ahl al-Bayt. It connects to last night's subject. You know, when there has been just so many false hadith being narrated, and Imam al-Sadiq, peace be upon him, and the other Imams gave us a guideline. So they told us, any hadith that matches the content of the Quran, take it. Everything else that conflicts with it, throw it away. It's a very simple formula, very simple guideline until today. Sometimes I hear a hadith, some people tell me, yeah, there's this hadith. I immediately say, wait a minute. there is something wrong. This hadith needs to be investigated. And just to briefly, I don't really like to address these points. This is more for the Shaykh and such. But hadith are classified into 3 types. Sahih al-Sanad, truly authentic, strong authentication. Da'if al-Sanad, weakly authentic. And al-Mutawatir. Why do we do that? We must know the proper right hadith to know, is it something a part of Islam, or is it something that was added or is being added until today to deform the image of Islam and to deform Islam, to destroy Islam from within. And that's happening very, very vigorously. And again, that ties with last night's subject. That's why we have to evaluate everything. We have to put it to the Quran test. Does it match or does it not match? So now we will continue with our subject about Amir al-Mu'mineen, peace be upon him. It's Surah Al-Maaeda verse 67. There's a verse that says, Ya ayyuha nabi, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. O Prophet, deliver what has been revealed unto you from your Lord, and if you do not do so, you have not fulfilled his mission. فَمَا بَلَّغْتَ رِسَالَتَهُ فَإِنْ لَمْ تَفْعَلْ فَمَا بَلَّغْتَ رِسَالَتَهُ. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling the Prophet, peace be upon him, in Surah Al-Maaeda, if you do not deliver this particular thing, that was actually on the day of the Al-Ghadir, you have not done anything. Basically, you have not delivered Islam, you have not done. And he actually says, there's also the verse, also Surah Al-Maaeda at the beginning, when it says, الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. Today I have completed to you your religion and completed to you my blessing and accepted Islam for you as a religion. So in other words, verse 67 is telling us that if Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had not appointed Al-Imam Ali, he would not have actually delivered Islam. He would not have fulfilled his mission. That's how important it was. That tells us that Al-Imam Ali, peace be upon him, and Ahl al-Bayt, that brings us again to Surah Al-Shoora, verse 23, and Surah Saba, verse 47, telling us that the importance of our love to Ahl al-Bayt, the Prophet's household, and to Al-Imam Ali. That day, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, Allahumma ma kuntu mawlah, fahada aliyyun mawlah. He's telling the people, whomever I am a master for, this is Al-Imam Ali, this is Ali, he's his master. Allahumma wali man wala. Allahumma please, Allahumma be with him, Lord, my Lord, and please support whoever supports Al-Imam Ali. Wa'adi man ada, and be an enemy to whomever is an enemy with. And make victorious he who supports him, and betray who he betrays him, and turn righteousness or the truth with him, whichever direction he turns. That reminds us of Ammar bin Yasir when he was asked, and he said, Ali ma'al haqq wal haqq ma'ali. Ali with the truth, and the truth is with Ali. Peace be upon him. Naturally, I like to explain why am I saying these things. And some people may say, Brother Muhammad is now talking about Shiism and why we must love Ahl al-Bayt. Yes, I'm talking why we must love Ahl al-Bayt. Why? Not that you should love Ahl al-Bayt. We should not love Ahl al-Bayt just because. Again, it's all based on knowledge, evaluation of facts. They are a part of Islam. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he presented Lady Zahra, peace be upon her, Lady Fatima, he said, Fatima is a part of me. Whoever hurts her will have hurt me, and whoever hurts me will have hurt Allah, or angered Allah. Whoever angers me will have angered Allah. means that Sayyidah Zahra, peace be upon her, is inseparable from Islam. Before we say why, I want to say another hadith that is found in Musnad Ahmad, Hanbal bin Ahmad. It's also found in Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Fada'al al-Sahaba. It's found in all of those. When the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that time, the Romans attacked Muslims in the Battle of Tabuk at the time of the Prophet. They found Islam to be threatening them, and so they decided to wage a war. Many people don't know about this war because it ended up not taking place. So Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, appointed Al-Imam Ali alayhi salam as his deputy. And Al-Imam Ali ran to him and said, "Oh Prophet, you want to leave me with the women and children?" Prophet Muhammad said, "Aren't you satisfied or aren't you pleased that you are to be like Aaron was to Moses, except that there's no prophet after me?" So that tells us that Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, was to Prophet Muhammad like Aaron to Prophet Moses, peace be upon them. You know, this is such a long subject, I'm finding that out right now. So what was the Prophet Aaron to Prophet Muhammad, to Prophet Moses, peace be upon him? أخ لي من أهلي أشد به أزر. A brother of mine from my household who will support me in such. See, in Surah Al-Shoora, when the verse said, وَأَذْنَادَ رَبُّكَ مُوسَى إِلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ, it goes on and says, قال ربي إني أخاف أن يكذبون ويضيق صدري ولا يطلق لساني فأرسل إلى هارون. When Allah called out the Prophet Moses to go and preach and inform or try to guide the people of Israel, Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, said that he fears that the people will consider him a liar and such. But before they says, فَأَرْسِلْ إِلَىٰ هَارُونَ, so send to my brother as a support, to support him. He did not want to do it on his own. He felt that he was going to be confronted, which he was, and we all know the story. That's another subject which will take forever. So Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, was Prophet Muhammad's deputy. That's why he left him at Medina at the time. He told him, you are to be like Aaron was to Moses. علي مني بمنزلة هارون من موسى إلا أن أكون نبيا بعدي. So now again we go back to that very subject. Why do we love Ahl al-Bayt? See, I like all my sermons to be, in a way or another, very goal-oriented. Why do we do this? Practically speaking, all we have comes from Ahl al-Bayt, from the Prophet's household. All the morals. Without the Prophet's household, what would we have today? Would there be Islam altogether? And God willing, tomorrow we'll talk about why are we Muslims, I hope. God willing. So, would there be Islam without the Prophet's household? Some people say, Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, is it just about succeeding the Prophet? Is it just about power? Al-Imam Ali, peace be upon him, he told the people, if it weren't to my responsibility, succession of the Prophet or this power is not even worth the bottom of the shoes. That's how much it's worth. Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, اكتفى بقرصيه. He would just eat 2 grain loaves of grain, just nothing more. Very modest food. Very modest food. See, when he was actually deprived of Al-Khalafa, be it the successor of the Prophet, he said, as long as Muslims are fine, I am fine. Even though there is injustice on me particularly. Now we start addressing the point. Why Al-Imam Ali? Why Al-Imam Ali? What did he do? See, there is a story one time when Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, was going in one of the cities and he saw a panhandler, a beggar. He said to the people, what's this person? They said, he's a Christian or a Jewish beggar. He said, you worked him until exhaustion and you dumped him? Go to the Islamic House of Finance and get him money to eat. Another story, Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, he was doing some work at night. He was doing some work and he saw from some distance, close by, like approaching the door, Talha and Az-Zubayr, two people distinguished for their roles and such. They were coming. He knew what they want. He knew their errand. They wanted to propose to Al-Imam Ali, peace be upon him. Hey, listen, at the time, just pointed out, Al-Imam Ali was the Khalifa at the time. So they wanted to ask him to make them of the close associates, and he, in exchange, must give them close or good positions. So as soon as they had a seat, Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, blew the candle off, he extinguished it, and he turned on or lit another. So the two looked at each other and said, oh Imam, we want to ask you, why did you extinguish one candle and lit another? Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib said, peace be upon him, he said, when you came, I was doing work for Islam, for my position as Khalifa. And so I was using a candle which was bought from the money that belongs to the Islam House of Treasury. Now, when you are visiting me, this is personal work. Naturally, therefore, I must use my own candle that I have paid for it on my own. So Al-Zubayr looked at Talha, they looked at each other and walked out without asking a question. They knew he wasn't going to bow. It's because Ahlul Bayt refused to bow under any circumstances, no matter what it was. And Imam al-Hussein, peace be upon him, he said to us, if Yazid takes Islam, فَعَلَى الْإِسْلَامِ السَّلَامِ, bid Islam or kiss Islam goodbye, as we say in English. Islam would be gone. I mean, what would there be remaining of Islam when these so-called Amir al-Mu'mineen or whatever they call them, Khalifa, they would actually be drinking alcohol, committing fornication, adultery, just doing just about everything. What would there be remaining of Islam? Nothing. So Ahlul Bayt, the Prophet's household, were the ones who sustained Islam. See, there is hadith, I should have said this a couple days ago, but naturally we're not covering any subject to its merit. There was one time, one man was sent by Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. So he came, and as soon as they saw Al-Imam Al-Hasan, peace be upon him, he started to curse him and curse his father, Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. So Al-Imam Al-Hasan, peace be upon him, was listening and listening and listening, and eventually, when this man, stopped talking for a second, he said, you don't look like you are from here. Perhaps you're a stranger. If you need guidance from directions, we will give you directions. If you need some food, we will give you some food. If you need some shelter, would you please come and stay at my house? So the man said to Imam Al-Hasan, peace be upon him, you heard what I was saying to you, didn't you? He said, yes, I did. So he said, I testify that an hour ago, you were my worst enemy, you and your father. But now, you and your father are my role models. Salawat ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. It's stated or it's said that Al-Imam Al-Hasan, peace be upon him, gave up all the wealth he has it twice in his life for the sake of Allah. What time Al-Imam Al-Hasan, peace be upon him, was walking and he was invited to eat by some poor people. They gave him some dried bread. That's all they had on the table. He ate. And then he invited them to actually come and have food at his house. And he told the people, he gave the people clothing, he gave them money, he gave them food, and he said to his household, we are indebted to those people because they gave us all they had, the dried bread, and we gave them some of what we have. Now, you may be wondering, why am I shifting to Al-Imam al-Hasan? Why am I saying the stories about Amir al-Mu'mineen? Because the Prophet's households are the ones who sustained Islam, are the ones who taught us Islam. See, Al-Imam Jaafar Sadiq, peace be upon him, says, or narrated that he says, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ يَظْلُمُ الْعِبَادِ. Whoever oppresses the worshippers of Allah is not of us. These are the Prophet's household. All we have is from them. We have the morals. They were the ones who sustained. They taught us everything. Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, you know, at the time of Al-Khandaq, the Muslims were sieged, and they were actually attacked by the polytheists. So Muslims dug a tunnel around the city in order to protect themselves. So Amr ibn Wudd al-Amiri, who was nicknamed Amr bi-Alf, like he's equivalent to 1,000 fighters. So he managed to overcome the tunnel, and he reached the city, and he screamed, Muslims, do not you say that whoever of you who gets killed in the way of Allah will go to heaven? Come, I will kill you and you go to heaven. What have you to lose? So Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said to the people, whoever fights him, I guarantee for him paradise. I guarantee. Nobody would, except Al-Imam Ali, who was 15 years old at the time. 15 years old. He said, Ana lahu ya Rasulullah. Prophet, let me for him. So first, second, third time, at the end, the Prophet Muhammad had no choice but to give his armored sword to Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, and said, الآن ظهر الإيمان كله للشرك كله. At this time, all the faith or all the righteousness has appeared facing all the polytheism or all the evil. So Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, when he approached Amr ibn Wudd, he said, first, I want to ask you to, or I'm going to ask you to join Islam. I call upon you to join Islam, to convert to Islam. So Amr ibn Wudd said, I have not come for this purpose. Then Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib said, then I ask you to return to where you have come from. Amr ibn Wudd said, you want the women of Quraysh to say that I have become a coward? أتريد أن يكون عندي نساء قريش أني جبنت? So Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, said, then I ask you to fight me. He said, your father was one of my friends. I don't wish to shed your blood. So Amr ibn Wudd wanted to shed the blood of Muslims, wanted to destroy Islam, but did not want to kill Al-Imam Ali. So Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, said, by Allah, I do want to shed your blood. For the sake of Allah, because he wanted to destroy Islam. So they fought. Naturally, Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, was victorious. But when the battle ended, people asked him, Oh Ali, we saw you just before striking Amr ibn Wudd dead. You stepped aside for a minute or two, and then you did it. Why? Why did you step aside for 2 minutes? What's happened? He said, when I wanted to do it, he spit in my face that I got angry. And I did not want to do it for the sake of my anger. I wanted to do it in full for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And so I stepped aside, I cooled off, and I did it. Why do I tell these stories? See, in Surah Al-Qasas, the Quran says, نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ. We narrate upon you the best of stories, because that's how we learn. These stories are the ones that teach us the morals. That's how we learn who Ahl al-Bayt were. That's how we know Islam. And hopefully either tomorrow or maybe another day we'll talk why we are Muslims. Why Islam is for us for this life and the life thereafter, God willing. But technically we are running out of time, which means I better conclude for the night. But before I do so, I remind you that last night, or according to some other scholars, it's tonight, Laylat al-Qadr al-Sughra. Laylat al-Qadr, not like some children think, is just a night when, it's like the Ring of Solomon, where your wishes would come true. But on Laylat al-Qadr tuqaddar al-arzaq. Like on this night, it's stated on Laylat al-Qadr. This night, or last night, there are 3 of them. On the 19th, the 21st, and the 23rd, it's stated that angels would be watching what we are doing, and he who worships Allah honestly and faithfully, Allah will actually even change his fate. Ad-du'a yawm al-qada. Prayer repels evil. And that's a whole another sermon, so I don't want to get there. But if you have any need, if you have anything, these nights, Layal al-Qadr, are the best of nights to pray, because again, as the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, layali hada ash-shahr hiya ahsan layali, that these are the best of the nights. And as the Holy Quran says, Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr, the night of, they translated night of power. I disagree. It's not called the night of power. Qadr means like split or share or something like that. Difficult to really give an accurate explanation. You know that Al-Quran cannot be translated. But again, it's the night when our fates or our goods and such will be written, wallahu alam, in the books of the afterlife. Again, that's a long subject. I wish to discuss it maybe tomorrow, maybe another day. But these are the best nights to pray, supplicate for Allah honestly and faithfully. So our last prayer is, praise Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I ask Allah to forgive me and forgive you. لقضاء حوائج المؤمنين والمؤمنات الموجودين والموجودات. لتعجيل الظهور، أيضا لأجر أو لقضاء حوائج الذين يقدمون الطعام هذه الليلة وفي الليالي التي سلفت والليالي التي ستلي، ولقضاء حوائج السيد طالب الرفاعي الحسيني رحمه الله، من قرأ الفاتحة تسبقها الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد بأعلى الأصوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.